Somewhere inside your brain, there is a version of you that you can never meet again. The version who stared out at rain in class when you were 9. The version who laughed so hard that your stomach hurt. The version who ate breakfast 3 years ago and had no idea it would vanish forever. You lived all of those moments. They happened to you. And now most of them are gone, not blurry, not hidden behind a locked door. Gone enough that if someone asked what you were doing on the 17th day of last April, you would have nothing. You have been alive for thousands of days, and almost all of it has disappeared. So why do you forget most of your life? Is your brain broken? Or is something more unsettling happening? What if forgetting is not a mistake? What if your brain is deleting most of your life on purpose? Imagine your memory as a camera. Every second it records the room around you, the faces, the sounds, the small thoughts you instantly lose. If your brain saved every detail forever, you would drown in your own past. Every time you looked for your keys, you would remember every other key you had ever touched. Every ordinary morning, your mind would not become perfect, it would become unusable. So your brain is not a camera. It is an editor, and editors throw things away. Most days are built from things your brain has already seen before. You wake up, you travel, you talk. You sleep, nothing about that day tells your brain that it needs to survive for 50 years. So it keeps the pattern and deletes the details. Your mind stores the summary, not the entire movie. But then something strange happens. A normal day can suddenly become permanent. The day you moved house, the moment someone changed how you saw yourself, the day you were terrified, the day you thought you might lose someone. Those moments survive because your brain notices that something has changed. Emotion is like a giant marker pen. It tells the brain, this matters, save this. But even then, memory does not work the way you think it does. You do not open a memory like a file. You rebuild it. When you remember the first day at a new school, your brain is putting pieces back together. The place, the feeling, the story you have told yourself about what that day meant. And every time you rebuild it, something can change. A detail moves. A sentence becomes more dramatic. Your strongest memories can feel completely real and still be partly wrong. Memory is not a museum. It is a construction site. Now think about the biggest missing section of your life. Your first years. You learned to walk. You learned who kept you safe. You learned what fear felt like, and yet you cannot remember learning any of it. For most people, the first years of life are almost silent. The person you were at 2 years old is mostly gone. This is called childhood amnesia. It does not mean babies have no memory. They can learn, recognize people, and be shaped by experiences long before they can explain them. Your brain is changing rapidly. Your language is changing. Your sense of who you are is changing. So the child who experienced those moments and the adult trying to retrieve them are almost speaking different mental languages. The memories may not be simply destroyed. They may be buried under a brain that has been rebuilt too many times. Then there is another weird pattern. People often remember adolescence and early adulthood with surprising strength. The first friends who felt like your people. The first big failure. The first time you realized adults were also confused. This period is full of firsts, and firsts stand out. They help build the story of who you think you are. A random lunch at age 35 might disappear, but a random lunch at 16 can become part of the legend of your life. Not because 16 is magic, because your brain was busy building you. So why does time seem to speed up as you get older? Part of the answer may be that your days become more similar. When you are 5, a year is full of things you have never seen before. When you are 30, a year can be full of things you have seen 100 times. The brain compresses repetition. It keeps important changes and throws away copies. That is why a week of travel can feel longer in memory than a month of routine. More new information means more landmarks. More landmarks make the past feel larger. And here is the twist. Forgetting is not the opposite of remembering. Forgetting is what makes remembering possible. If your brain never removed anything, you could not find the things that matter. You would have no clear story, no sense of what changed you. No way to learn from the past without being trapped inside it. Your memory is not trying to give you a perfect biography. It is trying to give you a useful one. It keeps the faces that mattered, the places that changed you, the fears that taught you some, the failures you need to avoid. Everything else becomes background. And maybe that is why forgetting feels sad, because every forgotten day was still a day you were alive. You laughed. You worried. You noticed something beautiful. You had a thought no one else heard. Then your brain took almost all of it away. But it did not take everything, it kept the shape, the people who changed you, the places that made you feel safe. Your past is not gone, it is everywhere. In the way you react before you think. The smell that sends you somewhere you cannot name. You do not remember most of your life because you were never meant to carry every second forever. You were meant to carry what helps you become the next version of yourself. And somewhere inside all the days you cannot recall are still doing their job, quietly making you who you are.